Hey guys, it's Devin, and today I have a talk through tutorial featuring this prom-ish look. It's really neutral, easy to pull off, and I give you a ton of tips and tricks, and every product that I use I highly recommend. So I hope that you get something out of this video. This video is already gonna be long enough, so I'm gonna stop rambling. Let's get into it. Okay, so I'm doing a talk through tutorial today, and I haven't done one of those in a very long time. Like, I don't know the last time I did one, but here we are. I wanted to do one because this is my first prom tutorial of the season, and I kind of wanted to just talk and share more tips and tricks, and I know that when I do voiceovers, my videos tend to go a lot faster, so when you're doing something that's for like a special event, like prom, anything where you're gonna be heavily photographed or you wanna like look good or you're gonna be out for a while, you're definitely gonna want to prime your face. The primer that I'm using is a hydration primer. I don't really feel like this primer actually makes my foundation last a lot longer, but my skin has been so dry lately, so I definitely have to use a hydration based primer or else it's just not gonna end up well. So use whichever primer you think you need to use, but I do definitely recommend using one. I'm just gonna color correct. This is not necessary, and this is like going to be a more personal thing. However, I feel it is kind of necessary for me when I know I'm going to be like photographed or something like that. Something like prom, I would definitely color correct. I typically color correct every day because I'm obnoxious. I'm just using a green color corrector basically on any of the areas of my face that are super pink or red. I have a lot of redness in my cheeks, a little bit on my chin, and some on the bridge of my nose. So I'm just applying that all over those areas, and then I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. The trick when you're doing color correcting is to remember you shouldn't really blend it out all the way because you're gonna cover up everything that you're doing with your foundation and concealer. So it's okay if you like look a little scary before you put that on, but you're kind of just neutralizing it. For foundation, I definitely recommend using something that you are familiar with. Try to pick something that you know matches well and you know plays nicely with your skin. I do really highly recommend this L'Oreal Infallible foundation. If you have super dry skin like I do, you do have to do a lot of preparation for it because it is super matte and it does have a tendency to make your skin look kind of dry and scary sometimes. So that being said, if you have oily skin, definitely pick it up. If you have normal or combo skin, I would give it a try. It lasts forever. Honestly, like, it is such a long-lasting foundation and it's really affordable. But you can see that the foundation essentially covers up the color correcting. I'm gonna zoom you guys in for a second. Something to watch out for are brush strokes. So you can see this lighting makes me look like I'm literally on drugs. But you can see that there are a lot of brush strokes right now. Just really make sure you take the time and look at your face really closely and make sure that there aren't any brush strokes and that everything is super blended out because it's not cute. It's just not. After foundation, if you like concealer or need concealer or have concealer, feel free to apply that. I'm out of everything right now. I actually ran out of concealer and don't have one, but I also think this foundation is high coverage enough that it's not necessary, so it could be worse, you know? I'm gonna go ahead and prime my eyes, even though I'm not really moving on to the eyes yet. They're just looking super discolored, you know, and I need to fix it. So I'm just going to apply some eye primer. Again, this is the same thing with the face primer. Even if you don't use a primer on the reg, I would definitely recommend it when you're doing some type of special event. It's gonna help it last longer and it's gonna help your shadows to be more vibrant. I am now just laying down an eyeshadow. This is a matte eyeshadow that is the same shade as my skin tone, and I'm just applying this all over the eye area. It's going to set the primer so that any of the eyeshadows I put on top don't come across super patchy or anything, and it's also just gonna help even out my eye area. I'm going to take a very light amount of this contouring powder, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, this one that I'm using from Wet n Wild is a little bit more warm than I would like it to be. However, it does work, especially if you use a super light hand, so just keep that in mind. I'm using an angled blush brush, and I'm going to start going right, like my cheekbone is here, and I'm going to go right under my cheekbone, like right in that hollow. And I'm just going to start patting that, and this looks kind of crazy. I'm gonna brush off any excess on like a napkin. I have a towel here, and then just kind of blend that out. There you can see it's just a really light contour, And on this side, I do have a little bit of like a natural shadow, which is like what you're trying to mimic. But you can definitely see that this side is much more defined. I also do contour my nose. This is also a very like personal thing. I'd like to, so I'm gonna do that now. I'm just going to do a little bit of shaping. Blush, I'm just going to use this really neutral matte peach. What I like to do is apply a little bit towards the center of my cheeks, kind of towards the apple of my cheeks, but a little bit off to the side. And then with a very light hand, you apply it, and then I'm gonna brush backwards a bit. And then once that brush is essentially clean of product, or if you want to wipe it on the towel again, I kind of just blend that out a little bit more. Now highlighting is a very special thing. Highlighting can get crazy. Maybe you don't want to highlight, that's fine too. But I like highlighting, I like an intense glow, so I'm gonna do it. I like to use a fan brush, and you can see that I've applied some of that product. I literally just swipe it across, and then I kind of tap it off to get any extra particles that aren't actually clung to the brush off. And then I'm going to take this kind of right under my eye. A lot of people put theirs a lot lower. I like to keep mine right in this area. Like right there. Oh yeah. Now I'm gonna take a bit of that on my finger and go right on my Cupid's bow. And then I'm also going to highlight my nose. So I'm going to do a tiny bit on the tip of my nose, and then some up the very top of the bridge of my nose. Let's zoom in. Let's just part the Red Sea here. And also, yeah, quick note, I don't put foundation or anything on my forehead when my bangs are down, because that's just like a waste of product, you know? Like, why would you do that? If my bangs are down, I typically don't really care as much about my brows because they're not really showing. So I first like to use this brow mascara. This is from Essence, and it's actually really good. And it has fibers in it, and this is the brunette one, so it actually matches my brows really well. My hair is naturally like an ashy brown, so I'd like to keep my eyebrows brown. I don't want to color them black. That would be a little scary for me. My brows are a little sparse, especially towards the tail, so I do like to give them a little help. I know they look kind of clumpy right now, but I am going to go through them with a spoolie after. I just kind of need to let the product dry a little bit, or else if I do that, it's going to get like product all over this area when I spoolie. So do the same thing on the other brow. So I'm just going to comb through it with a spoolie. So this is just going to get rid of any clumps. Gonna look a little less offensive now. So first, just going to start out with a really light tan. I'm going to apply this into the crease with a fluffy brush, and this is gonna act mostly as a transition shade, which if you're not familiar with that term, it's basically just a first crease shade that's going to help any darker shades blend out a little bit easier. Using that same brush, I'm gonna go in with a deeper, warmer brown, and I'm going to start to kind of do a rounded shape. So in the outer corner, I'm gonna kind of get that outer corner and then swirl up into the crease. Just using a really light hand with that shadow, because it's a lot easier to build up and it's not as easy to take off or, you know, blend it out well enough. I'm going to go in with a darker warm brown. I'm gonna start building that into the crease, mostly the outer half of the crease, like from here out. It is of course getting a little bit in there, but we're going to concentrate it on that outer portion. Okay, so now I'm just going to swirl that around for some nice blending. I'm going to go in with a bit more of that last brown that we used, and just going to continue to deepen that outer corner and kind of keeping this one a little bit more focused on that outer corner. I'm going to clean off the excess on that towel that I have in front of me, and then just blend. I'm gonna go in with this goldish champagne shade and just apply that all over the lid area. And if you are experiencing fallout, take some surface like a sponge or a brush or something, and you can kind of keep it under that eye area so that it will hopefully catch the majority of that fallout and you won't be stuck with unwanted particles of pigment all over your face. Quickly, before I move on to eyeliner, I am just going to take this same fluffy brush with a little bit of the first two shades that I used in the crease, and I'm going to apply those with this brush, but I'm going to kind of pinch it a little bit so that it's a little flatter. And I'm just going to tuck that under that lash line. And then once the color is applied, Just going to blend it out. I'm gonna try to do a baby wing, but I'm probably gonna end up looking like a bird that's about to take flight, so. And then I'm just gonna go out of the outer corner and just do the tiniest angle. That's too tiny. Just gonna kind of swoop it in. Oh no, this is going so poorly. This is only getting worse. Okay, maybe we've salvaged it. But if you're not comfortable with eyeliner, definitely skip it. Although if you are planning on wearing false lashes, I would go in with like a powder, even like just like a black powder, and doing a really thin line next to your lash line just so that the lash band has something to hide behind. Alright, and there are some wings. They're a little bit thick, but it's okay, you know? They could be a lot thicker. I feel like they're not overpowering, so to make my eyes look a little bit larger and a little bit more open, I'm just going to take a nude pencil and kind of run that in that waterline, in my waterline. Also, side note, I was thinking about doing a video on makeup brushes because all I use basically are affordable makeup brushes. If that's something that interests you or doesn't interest you, let me know in the comments. I'm wearing false lashes today and I do recommend wearing them for a special occasion like this. Of course, I wear false lashes all the time because like I said, I'm very extra, but I definitely do recommend something like this. It's gonna kind of take your look to the next step, amp it up. But that being said, I am still going to apply mascara. I'm first starting out with a lash primer, and this is basically, it's good for your lashes because this particular one has like vitamins and stuff in it, but also the mascara that I'm using is slightly flaky, and I feel like this kind of adheres it a lot better to my natural lashes so that it doesn't flake off that much. And also, if you're not going to wear lashes, definitely curl your lashes. I'm not going to curl mine because that'd just make it harder for me to put my false ones on. Now I'm just going to go in with a coat of mascara. The coat on the upper lashes is going to be really light, but the lower lashes I am going to do a bit more definition since those are clearly going to be visible. Are you kidding? Is this a joke? Okay, we're good. It's not a dot, it's just like a piece. Okay, crisis averted. And I'm really just going to separate and define these lower lashes because once I put falsies on my top lashes, it's going to need to be balanced out with the lower lashes. The lashes today I'm using are Ardell Wispies. They're really easy to wear. They don't look super dramatic, so I feel like they work really nicely with something like this, especially a look like this. And they also have a pair called Demi Wispies, which are a similar style, but just shorter in length if you do feel like these are a little bit too long for you. I'm using the Duo brush-on adhesive to apply this, and so I'm just going to apply that on the strip lash. And if you guys want a detailed video about lashes, I know that there's 1,000,001 videos out there, but it has been requested like for me to make one. If that's something you're interested in, just so I can share like some more tips and tricks and do like a really in-depth about like the lash styles I like, don't like, brands, stuff like that, let me know. So make sure you really get the inner and outer corner because that's going to be detrimental if you don't. Your lash will lift, it will not be cute. I'm going to wait for this to get tacky. My camera is overheating. So I'm going to start by applying these in the center with the tweezies and then applying those outer corners. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm just going to take a spoolie, where's the spoolie? And just slightly comb through those lashes. Just make sure that they aren't clumpy or too much. And then all I have to do is powder my face and do my lips. So I'm just going to go ahead and powder. This foundation, like I said, is super matte. So powdering I don't really honestly think is necessary, but I do feel like it kind of just brings everything together and it feels nice. But if you're using a foundation that's a little bit more dewy and you do want to mattify it, just powder it up. If you're doing a foundation that's dewy and you don't want to powder it, don't powder it, but it will fade faster. So for lips, you could do literally any color because although I did use warmer browns in the crease, I feel like it actually ended up looking pretty neutral. I'm gonna take my hair down now. Wait, where's it? let your head down. Yep, that one. Look at all these. This one, ignore that one. I don't like that one. Yeah. So yeah, you know, you've got options, but I am gonna go with these NYX Butter Lipstick in SNOWCAP. So just gonna layer on. Bring your lip product with you, especially if you're doing a bolder color. Definitely bring it with you because you will need to touch up throughout the night. If you're doing something like this and you really only care for it to be there in pictures, you don't really need to worry about it, but of course, if you're gonna have like a little clutch anyway, just throw her in. Also, if you are going to bring any essentials, I would say basically the 3 things I would bring are powder, my lipstick, and lash glue. Everything can be solved with these 3 products. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. I know it was super long, so thank you for holding out and hanging out with me this whole time. I hope that you learned something, got some tips and tricks, and even maybe got some inspiration for your actual prom look. If you do end up doing this or variation or just like this tutorial, please let me know. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. There's a link to do so on the screen, as well as links to all my social media accounts, and that stuff is also down in the description bar. That's it. That's all I have to say. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.